How you going there, folks? My name is Paul Bars. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to this series we call Success, Happiness and Life. It's all about the personal journey that each of us are on. Now, in recent videos, I've spoken about putting together some lists. I suggested a top 5 things that you might like to make change in your life. Now, I've been receiving some feedback and found that perhaps putting together a top 5 isn't the easiest thing in the world to do because, well, your list could be this long. Or maybe your list is only this long and stretching it out to 5. So in the next couple of videos, I'm going to give you some suggestions, some direction, some focus that you can take. And we'll begin today with talking about personal development goals. Now let me say up front, I'm not going to ask you to start dancing up and down like you're at an Amway convention and waving the flags and going rah, rah, rah to feel good about yourself. No, I mean that's not kind of personal development I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the things that happen around you and outside you. I'm talking about the things that happen within you. I'm talking about the thoughts that you have and the feelings that you experience in your life about you. See, personal development and our thoughts and our feelings about ourselves and our development determine everything in life that we hear, everything in life that we see. It doesn't really matter what's happening over there. It's how we think about it that makes the difference. So I'm going to suggest to you that when this video finishes, or if you're not able to do it immediately this video finishes, you need to set aside 10 minutes. Yep, 10 minutes. In the first 5 minutes, I'd like you to brainstorm some ideas, things, dreams, hopes, desires, wishes that you'd like to fulfill. Now, put aside when you're brainstorming in these 5 minutes all potential limitations. Remember, these are just things of the mind for the moment. If you have a family and you have a desire to go out and do something, well, that's okay. You can brainstorm and just write the idea down. Don't worry about your time constraints for the moment. Put aside financial concerns. Put aside commitments. Put aside all restraints of all kind. Brainstorm, dream and desire. Ask yourself some questions about who you would like to be. Is there something about your physical body that you think perhaps should be changed, could be changed? Don't worry about how difficult it might be. Just write it down as you're brainstorming. Is there something perhaps that you'd like to learn? Something you haven't done yet that maybe, if given the opportunity, it were possible. Maybe there are some personality, some character traits that you would like to adopt. How about the friends and the family that you spend time with? Could they be better chosen? Now, I know the old story, we can't choose our family, only our friends. Sure, but do you have to spend every moment with them? Put aside constraints, put aside limitations. These types of things determine who we are. Who we are determines how we see, how we think, how we feel. Not just about ourselves, but about our world. Perhaps when it comes to personal development, there are some things in your life, deep down, hidden inside, that you just wish were who you are. Maybe you can jot them down as well. This is a list you're not going to share with anyone else. And then once those 5 minutes are up, I'd like you to then take an extra couple of minutes and look at those goals, again putting aside all constraints and constrictions for the moment, and then simply say, well, maybe I can give a time frame to those things. I wonder, if I were to apply myself, maybe I could achieve that in a year. Maybe 6 months for that one, 5 years for that one. Oh boy, that's a 10-year project. Give yourself some time constraints as to when you would like to own, to adopt these characteristics about yourself and your own personal development. Who do you want to be is what I'm asking. And then, in the last 2 minutes, I want you to choose, yes, I want you to choose which of all of those that you've come up with, and there's probably going to be half a dozen or more on that list, which is the most important to you. And then I'd like you to write down a 1-paragraph phrase, couple of sentences, tops. 1 sentence is okay. why this number one characteristic that you want to adopt is so important to you. And then I want you to give it a 1 year time frame. Now let me just give you an example of how I experienced this again just yesterday in my own life. I've mentioned recently that physical health for me is very important because there was a time I was not physically well. There's a time in my recent years where I wrote out my will thinking it may need to come to pass. I had my first trip in an ambulance many times in recent years. I was a little worried that things weren't going to turn out for me, perhaps quite the way I'd hoped. So physical health became a goal for me. And last night came time for my usual Sunday run. I like to go for a jog a couple of times every week. It was pouring down rain. But I needed to go for a jog for two different reasons. I wanted, for my physical health, that's probably not the main reason why I do it anymore, because I found the benefits mentally, emotionally, feeling good about myself and my own personal development. That's the real reward. But I went off anyway. I mean, it's not freezing cold. Off I went on my run. And here's what I noticed while I was out there. Doing my circuit, couple of K around a few times. Normally there's, I don't know, 20, 25, sometimes even 30 people that I'll pass on the way. I didn't see one of them last night. How important are my goals to me compared to whatever their goals are for them? How important do you think? See, for me it's very important. And in order to make that work, I gave myself a time frame of when I wanted to be able to do something. And I have a new time frame right now, 12 months this month. I have a new goal. And I was thinking about it just last night. And as I'm running, and as the pain is starting to hit me, because I'm not a runner. Let me just clarify that. I do it for other reasons. But as it was starting to get a bit difficult for me, as my legs were turning to jello and my breath was hurting, it happens every time I go up a little bit of a hill. I mean, even the hills like this or like this, it doesn't matter. I feel the pain. But I created for myself a mental image of achieving the goal that I have set for myself in this particular area. And yes, it is a physical, real, tangible thing that can be worked on and can be achieved within a 12-month period. And that's what keeps me going. Because I wrote out for myself my reasons for doing this. Now, a few years ago, they were just a dream, they were just a wish, they were just a hope. Now they are goals. So this is what I'm suggesting for you. Sit down, take these 10 minutes, brainstorm some ideas. Then give time frames to those ideas. Personal development. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? Then pick your number one. And in 2 minutes, write down the reason for it and why it's so important to you. And if you can't think of a reason, it's the wrong one. It's not that important to you. And get those things done, and I'll get these other videos up very shortly, and we'll put together our top 5. Success, happiness, life. Let's enjoy it while we're here. Let's get something from it. It's not meant to be wasted. It's meant to be worked. This is Paul Bars from paulbars.com. Thanks for listening. I'll join you again shortly. Bye-bye.